close.
Yeah, I know.
One more minute,
And certainly not anymore. I just, there was a day when I was appealing to me. Get a little, yeah, maybe a little bit. Oh, right. 67. So yeah, I don't mind my time at home after work now.
Some days, you ain't long enough today, I'll say above the mud.
I believe it's 4 o'clock. We'll call the meeting of the Board of Adjustment to order. Call the roll, please, Angie.
Terry Broxma.
Here.
Dave Vandenbroek.
Here.
Renee Popke. Gwen Beltcamp. Here. April Schaefer. Here. Dean Van Marl.
Here.
Lee Rubers.
Here. We have a quorum, so we should be able to resolve some things today. So, item 2, approve and review the minutes of the meeting, April 23, 2025.
I would make a motion to approve.
Support.
Angie, call the roll.
Beltcamp.
Approve.
Yes. Schaefer.
Yes.
Van Marl.
Yes.
Rubers.
Yes.
Vandenbroek.
Yes.
Broxma.
Yes. Item 3, consider setback variance for an attached garage at 1816 East 9th, Cody Hansen. And Cody, I think you're here. You want to step up to the podium and explain what you're doing to the group?
Basically, the plan is to add on straightforward from where the existing garage is and kind of wrap it around the front of the house and put another 2-stall garage in front of it.
Okay. And this house had a fire damage at one time, is that right?
It did last July.
Okay. And you're redoing the entire inside too then, it looks like?
Pretty much.
Okay, all right. We did get one comment from your neighbor, Sonia Van Tielberg.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of this one? Or
I
not?
am.
Okay. She's asking, she wants to be very clear where the lines are of the property, and Todd, are those marked out for her, or do you know how that's been done?
Those are not marked. That would be Cody or her's responsibility to know where they are. I mean, Steve can speak to this. Based on the information that we have, the 2 foot seems realistic. We don't know if it's exact or not.
She indicates she does not want to be responsible for paying for any of the site plan.
I don't blame her. I priced it at about $2,000 to have it surveyed, so.
I don't know what to tell you. If she wants to make an issue of it, you might want to do that before you put the foundation in.
Mm-hmm.
So, Steve, you want to address this?
Okay. So basically, the rule of thumb is it's on the homeowner who's doing the project. So it's the homeowner's responsibility to know and locate where property lines are and to ensure that they're building on their own property. Long story short, I have run into situations where people build on other people's property and it gets real messy. I've had people where fences have gotten ripped out, where buildings have gotten relocated. It's your responsibility to know where your property lines are and where you're building. That's what it comes down to.
And just what I'm going to tell you, Cody, if it's any advice to you, based on the fact that this goes in the record, I would make sure you know where the property line is. And have a survey done that satisfies her and marked.
Okay.
And there's ways to do that. I mean, if you can get creative. If you have a friend that has a metal detector and you want to go hunting for lot pins, you can do that. You can hire a surveyor to just do what's called a lot pin marking, which tends to be cheaper than a full-blown survey. They're not doing a drawing survey of the property. They just come out and locate lot pins, which tends to be cheaper. You can go on the assessor site. The assessor site has very detailed lot dimensions. And if you can start parceling lot dimensions together down to the end of a block, and you can know where a definitive ending point is, you can get a measuring wheel, you can get a 200-foot tape, you can get creative, and you can mark stuff off, and you can get pretty accurate. And like I said, if you're in that ballpark of 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot or more, you know you're going to be safe if you're building on your property.
Yeah.
And we run into this 9 times out of 10 more with fences. They say, oh, I'm a foot into my property line, and they end up being a foot over the property line. So that's where I always say it is on the responsibility of the homeowner. But nobody's dictating that you have to go out and pay for an expensive survey. You can get creative. But it is on your responsibility as a homeowner to know where your property lines are.
And she has to agree with it.
And as I stated before, we're not going any further out to the side. We're just going straight up from where the existing garage is anyways.
I'm just telling you that she's made an issue of it. I would make sure if you find the pin, that's probably the easiest thing to do is to find the pin.
Yeah.
And do it that way.
And to Cody's benefit, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but to Cody's benefit, he is not extending the building any closer to the neighbor's property at all. He's just projecting that same line straight further north.
Have you talked to her at all?
No.
Be wise to do that too, maybe.
Has there been an issue with the property line?
Not that I've ever known.
And how farther north are you extending the new garage from the old garage?
It will be within city ordinance, what is it, that you can't be 25 feet from the sidewalk. And yeah, that will be in spec right there.
Okay.
It's just a matter of not going any further to the side, so I don't know why it'd be a big issue.
I don't know
So
either, except that she put it in her letter, and it becomes a part of the record. So if she if she goes and gets a survey and finds that you've been over, that could
There are
be a
buildings
problem.
that are built over the property lines and nobody ever knows. And that could be a possibility that would be your garage now. I mean, we don't know that for sure. That there's incidences that I've run into where that's been an issue, so. Probably gonna have to figure out some way to figure out where the property line is to make her satisfied.
And the other thing I look at is, if you look at the neighbor directly behind me, her garage is way off to the side of where mine is, so.
Yeah. That won't satisfy anybody.
I was gonna say, it's like, is the property line like not matching up by that far?
Which is a possibility. The backyard neighbor's property line doesn't necessarily mean that that's your property line with your direct neighbor. The other thing is she makes issue in her letter that she doesn't want to mess on her lawn during the construction phase. So you might want to know exactly where that line is, because I can tell you when she calls the cops, I'm going to tell her it's a civil issue, and it's going to have to be attorneys, and that attorney might cost you more than what that surveyor are going to cost.
Well, I'm pretty sure there ain't gonna be a mess on her yard, but
It's in the record, and we have to make note of it.
I was gonna say, my contractor, he's pretty clean and picks up pretty good every day, so.
Yeah. Well, I want to see you get it done, but we also don't want to put you in a position where you spend a lot of money after you do something, so this is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Should be done.
So, do we need a motion with a contingency on locating property pins?
I would say that would be wise.
Okay.
And you know the difference between a full survey and pin location, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the problem is, I've talked to a couple different companies about surveying it, and they don't do just a pin.
They're also salesmen.
Like the one downtown here, in the old bakery. I talked to them, and
You might be able to call the engineer's office in O'Brien County, they might be able to do it for a fee.
okay.
They have in the county before, but that's usually because there's a piss and match going on. and they do it under my advisement, just so we can start, yeah.
It's better to get it done before.
I was saying, do you have that number, or
Engineer's office,
just the engineer's office?
yeah.
Okay.
You can try that. I'm not guaranteeing anything on that pin location, but,
Wonderful.
a little bit of work now might save you a lot of headache later, because neighbors that don't get along are a thorn in the keister. So,
I've always gotten along with her, so.
well, I think she's pretty much said what the line is for you to tow. I'm in agreement with that contingency of a survey
Yeah.
of a pin location, because that'll make your life easier, wholeheartedly.
I think that, I'd make that a motion that we would allow the variance, but based on property line location
And I will
being
second,
verified.
I will second that motion with contingency on it.
Motion made and seconded. Did you get that language?
Make up your own.
I got it.
Call the motion?
Beltkamp,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Broxma,
Yes.
Vandenbroek,
Yes.
Rupert,
Yes.
Benmaro.
Yes.
Just so you know what it means when this goes in the record, if she has a issue later and finds out you're over the line, it'll be very expensive.
Obviously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Item 4, consider height variance for fence, Northern Natural Gas Company. David Kimmel. Would you come to the podium, please? You're one of the favorite guys in town, you know.
Not right now.
We all want gas,
Phone
though.
calls. Well, Sam sent me a bunch of stuff through the email as far as.
We got
with
several letters.
And I've called them all. Explains what's going on. It'd be a 6-foot fence. We prefer our standard fence, 6-foot chain link with barbed wire for safety. That's our standard. You know, so we're kind of eliminating that barbed wire, satisfying. We're also using a 1-inch mesh, so it's a little smaller in diameter. And we also asked about powder coating that black to make it look good, but that 1-inch mesh, it doesn't work. That's what we're telling us.
Yeah.
And
Flakes
it's
off.
not our project manager, it's the company for the fence.
You recall, did Northern Natural Gas put in the shrubs around the outside?
You know, that's another thing. Mr. Jeff, after the variance, I talked to Steve and Sam. Jeff was one of my persons I had to call, and I said, hey, is there any landscapers that Northern can hire to redo this area that's already looking bad? And he goes, yeah, I am. So he did give us a quote. We're gonna use him right after we put up the fence.
Okay.
We're gonna put new shrubs. He's gonna tear out the existing shrubs, put in new shrubs, put in an edge, and it should be a lot better looking. And I did send Steve some pictures I do have pictures.
I think I got it.
If anybody looked, I got them printed out.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Jeff, you want one? There's 2 of them. Shows the mesh.
Pass it down here.
Steve, you want to stack right there?
Sorry, we'll put this in the record also. Could you also explain to me, I have farmland and I'm with pipelines in there.
Sure.
And I'm told when I visit with people like you that there's certain federal regulations that you follow concerning fencing,
6-foot
signage
fence
and all
with
that.
barbed wire is a standard federal regulations that we follow.
So you can not put the barbed wire in, but 6 foot,
With an argument, we will.
yeah.
We're gonna be fighting, we have to show why in the playgrounds, a good reason why. So we just give them examples and hopefully it passes too.
And then could you explain why you need to be able to see through the fences?
It's a security reason. It's just like your public pool. You got a 6-foot chain link fence. You gotta be able to see through that. You
And
don't
it would be on the street side only, or?
be on all four.
All 4 is a requirement?
Yep. And then, two of the sides are gonna have a landscaping.
Yeah.
It's gonna be burning bushes or dogwood. We asked them to give it low maintenance
Yeah.
on shrubs. I don't know what that's gonna come out, if you can find something like that. But that's what we're asking, if something's gonna get about 5-6 feet.
Yeah.
And then, low maintenance. And I'm gonna get with the city manager too, Sam, because somebody's gonna have to maintain that. And if the city's maintaining that for us, we should be paying the city. So I'm gonna get with Sam on that.
That sounds like a good budget item.
Well, it, you
Utilities,
spend it, you know, it
we're
might take
looking,
15, 20 minutes, but it's 15, 20 minutes that your guys took to do this.
we're looking to make some money on a utility.
Instead of paying out, right?
Yeah.
Too soon, Jerry.
Also, you're asking for a variance on the corner?
Yes, there's a valve site that sits up there. It's Mid-American. There's 2 of us in there. We own the TBS site, Transborder Station, and that's Northern Natural Gas. We're mainline pipe, anywhere from 700 to 1,000 pound pressure these pipes are coming into the facility. Then Mid-American, we have regulators. That's what you hear in that TBS
Yeah.
site. It's regulating that gas
That's the noise?
to get down to the 65 pound pressure that goes into these homes, or 30 pounds, whatever they need. I'm not too familiar with low pressure. So there's 2 of us in there. It's Mid-American and us. They have the odorizer in there that people smell. That's a complaint too. But that odorizer is gonna save somebody's life if they have a leak in their house, because it's gonna smell rotten eggs.
And that's injected
Natural
there?
gas is an
Odorless?
odorless gas. So that's why that's unfortunate.
And when you're reducing the pressure, that's when you put the rotten egg gas in it, is that correct? Similar?
It's a different, before it gets shipped out to the public, it gets put in.
Okay.
It's that little tank
Yeah,
that was sitting there to, matter of fact, Jeff's side, west side, right? It's on the west side. That's what they fill, that little, like a propane tank, and that has all the odorizer in that. After it gets down to pressure, before it gets shot out to the consumers, just spit some nice flavor in there, or odor, whatever. Unfortunate, that has to be in there.
And the odor that comes from that out there by the station is just basically probably some pressure blowing off or something like that.
Just a little.
Occasionally.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just,
Has to
has to
happen.
breathe a little bit.
Yep.
And that's all on Mid-American.
Yeah, right.
So,
Okay.
but there is a valve that comes up. It's a U-shape, this far off the ground, 6 inch, and it's sitting right there at that corner, unfortunately.
I'll make one comment for the group. I can tell you that site was there long before any of the houses were there.
1957 warranty deed to Northern Natural Gas.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any plans to
And
move.
then there's, now, but you never know. It's way over my head.
Do we have the authority to supersede federal regulation with this barbed wire? Steve, could you?
We're not gonna do the barbed wire.
You're not gonna do the barbed wire, even though the feds say you should.
Yeah.
We
So
eliminated
that's an
it.
issue you're willing to take up?
Now it's my butt, because I'm the one that pushed for it.
Okay, well, I didn't know that we could say, no, you can't, when there's
Here's-
a higher part.
Northern Natural Gas is gonna do the restriction and follow everything the city of Sheldon, within reason. And if the barbed wire is one of them, I don't think that's a fight that we really wanna mess with. And if the feds wants to come and see the actual playground, thinking we're fooling them, they can do their investigation and all. It's happened before.
And it is time to replace the fence.
Oh, Jesus, and there's in works, because I took pictures, sent them back to Northern, to the project manager, and to my boss. And first thing out of his mouth, he says, yeah, we do need to do stuff. You know, the rock looks good, there's no weeds in it. They're older buildings, I was told they're gonna be painted, I don't know how soon, but that's in the works too. But I kinda level it up and say, hey, instead of paint, let's do new buildings, so.
Yeah.
I recommended that.
Good. Any questions for Mr. Kimmel?
Steve, you wrote a letter. Do you have anything to say outside of what your letter is for it to be on the record? Please, go step up before you make that.
Well, I talked to Dave today, so I kind of understand all the things he talked about, but my concern was that park, just to the north side of it, and I was hoping the north side of the fence could be solid, so that kids in the park, you know, would not see that, and the rest of it chain link, but I don't know if that's possible. But everything, obviously, I don't like the smell either when you walk by, but I understand the reason, so and keeping it clean after we plant all this shrubbery there. It's a mess now. If you've ever been by it last summer, it was a disaster. So it needs to be, you know, kept up after it's planted, the shrubs and stuff. But I personally would like a solid fence on the north side separating the park from that, but maybe that's not possible, so that's all.
From what we understand, that's not allowed under the regulation.
And I would,
But see, you could still see in it. I understand his concern to be able to see in it, but three sides you'd be able to see in it yet, but.
well, when I pull up to a scene, I'll tell you I want all four sides to be able to see in it.
Oh, okay,
And I get the argument. I want to be able to see in it.
okay.
As a deputy, I do, yeah. I mean,
And I can live with that.
and
It's just something.
I would even argue put the barbed wire on it because no kid's gonna climb up in that dang thing with barbed wire on it. And if you're dumb
I
enough
don't
to do
have
it,
a
you're dumb
problem
enough
with
to
that
get scratched. But they're willing to make that concession. I get it.
And I understand about the, you know, the north side,
Yeah.
but that was my concern with the park. The park is really used a lot, believe it or not. My grandkids use it, there's kids there all the time, and that was the only thing. And I can live with, you know, it being chain link too.
Well, and of the letters, you know, there were a few that said they want, you know, a solid privacy fence. One of them said they want to be able to see the corner and what's coming around it. Well, a chain link fence, you can see through it.
Yeah.
And so, for me, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, okay,
I
I
as a
can live with that.
and
It was just something that.
2 weeks ago, east side, or west side of town, 621 Park Row, somebody knocked the gas thing right off, and first thing everybody saw was they could smell it.
Yeah.
Everybody get out of here. And,
Yeah.
yeah, so the smell does
So,
pay off.
you know, and I had a couple neighbors mention that to me,
Yep.
at least separate it from the park, but if that's not possible, I understand, so.
Yeah.
That was my concern, along with the smell and the upkeep of the shrubs that are gonna be planted around it. If you saw it last year, how much of a mess it was.
Well,
We-
it sounds like they're gonna
Yeah,
address
I
that
understand,
big time, so.
hopefully
okay.
that'll be good. So that's all I have, so, okay?
Thanks, Steve.
I would guess that people don't understand. I didn't understand that smell is actually something they're pushing in there for
Yeah.
our benefit.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, so when you're in your basement and you smell it,
right.
that's because that's getting put in there.
Yeah, and actually,
So it's good to know that.
Mhm.
this is another good thing, because my furnace, I had natural gas too, my furnace went out, and I had some kind of regulator in there, it was spitting out natural gas that I smelled it, so that's kind of saved us there too.
Pilot light. Any other questions?
So just to be clear, all we're really, the variance is just for
The height,
A 6-foot fence.
the height and the angle.
the angle. Okay. Oh, yeah.
And the part of the record would be that they've agreed to landscape it
And maintain it.
and maintain it better.
And just say the city requires no barbed wire.
Okay, and the city requires no barbed wire.
A little easier.
We miss anything, Steve?
No, I think you covered it perfectly, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, just on the record that the site triangle too. I would just point out, just for the commission's benefit, or the board's benefit, that the fence is gonna be in the exact same perimeter, exact same location as what's there now. It's just gonna be greatly enhanced from what was there. And I do think the new shrubs, it won't be this year, may not be next year, but given a couple of years for it to grow, the shrubs is gonna serve as a barrier, a visual barrier from the park and the neighbors too. So I think that's a good faith effort on their part to say that they'll put in landscaping as well, because that's gonna be an added deterrent to get through the fence, but also an added, visual barrier. I just hope they do it close enough that it kind of serves as a shrub row, or a hedgerow, kind of a little bit more of a visual screen, so.
Did you want to
But-
explain what you were thinking?
Could affect you being able to see in.
I can deal with the shrub.
You got two sides you can see in.
I can deal with the
Basically,
shrub.
what we were gonna do is just come out about 5 foot on the east and the north side, kind of what's there already, for the old bushes that have been in. And then gave them some options of, some lilac or some burning bush or some dogwood. So, full maturity, yeah, obviously, 2-3 years down the road, if they get 4 or 5 foot tall, maybe about 4 foot in spacing, so that's kind of what we've been looking at or discussed with these guys, so it's kind of what we got. As far as maintaining,
Our project manager didn't like the lilacs, because if you don't maintain them, those things
They
get out of
shred.
control fast. Stool out.
so I think as far as maintaining, if that's something city, Todd's crew does, or we do, or we do it, with Northern, I think something like that can be worked out
Okay.
down the road, so
All right,
it's kind of where I'm at.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you wanted to use someone locally for the landscaping.
Well, that's, Jeff
So
was the
thank
first
you.
person I talked to, and that's the first thing I said, is there a landscaper? And he said, "Yeah, me." Perfect for me. Steve, you could have got on the bag. No. No? No, me neither. Can I have a motion then?
Motion to approve the variance.
For, and this is for the angle?
The height, the angle, landscape and maintenance, and the city requires no barbed wire.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Oh, thank you.
Gwen?
Call the roll?
Rivers.
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Beltcamp.
Yes.
Vanderbrick.
Yes.
Roxma.
Yes. And I'm requiring that the paper cover what the smell is.
I don't get some smell. No, I know, we come around, I come in.
All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Call the roll?
Roxma.
Yes.
Vanderbrick.
Yes.
Beltcamp.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Monroe.
Yes.
Rivers.
Yes.
We are adjourned, thanks.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, we also think
We learned that.
be able to read it.
You did?